So how do you avoid burnout as an entrepreneur? If you run any kind of business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You got into business because you wanted to create more freedom for yourself, but all of a sudden, a couple months in, 1 or 2 years in, now you're becoming a slave to your business. You're working way more hours than you did back when you were working a 9-to-5 job, and all of a sudden you're putting in 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks, never sleeping enough. Well, look, in this video, I want to give you 3 different lessons, 3 keys of how you can get back more hours in your week so you can finally get back the life that you wanted to build in the first place. So let's go ahead and jump right in. If you're new to this channel, my name is Richard. I'm an entrepreneur as well as a high performance coach, and I work with people all over, university students, entrepreneurs, working professionals. But today, if you are a business owner, this video is for you. Let's jump right into this. So the first key that I want to talk to you about is going to be recovery. Right? But in terms of recovery, there's 2 different kinds that we want to talk about today. The first is micro, and then we're going to move into macro. Now, what exactly do I mean by micro recovery? Micro recovery is actually very simple. All it means is what kind of recovery are you practicing on a daily basis? Look, a lot of people, they're super gung-ho when they first get into business, and maybe this is you, where from the moment you wake up all the way until when you go to bed, you're just sprinting. That's not the kind of life that you want to live, right? Because what happens is when you live this kind of life, you end up burning out after only 3-4 days of working out. I've been super motivated on a Monday, but then all of a sudden by Wednesday, you're super tired because you're putting in all these long hours in your day. So the first thing I want you to first think about is how can you rest on a micro basis? This could be something as simple as if you have your first 3 hours of work, you schedule that in as deep work in the morning. Undistracted work, no phone, no distractions, no messages, no emails. You go ahead and get 3 hours of work. How can you give yourself a short little reward and go out on a nice walk for 15 minutes? How about you program in a 45-minute workout right then when you know that you're just very vulnerable to actually getting really tired? Now, the second kind of micro recovery I want to tell you about is having a solidified hard stop, okay? So the first is breaks. And pardon my writing because I'm going to be writing really fast here. The second one is going to be what I call a hard stop. And all a hard stop is a lot of people don't set boundaries. As entrepreneurs, you know you're always on the clock. There can always be some kind of fire that you want to put out within your business. I understand it. But the way you want to create the life around you is you need to put a hard stop into your life for when you promise to stop working. The beauty of working a 9-to-5 job is, although it might not be something you're passionate about, you know that at 5 p.m. you can go ahead and end the day. Your boss isn't going to get mad. Everyone goes ahead and leaves the office. You want to go ahead and let all your team members know, hey, at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., whenever that hard stop is for you, there is a time that you know you're pushing towards, because the deadline is the ultimate inspiration. If you don't have a deadline in your days, their days are just going to carry over into the evenings and you're never going to have any time for yourself. And then the third piece of your micro recovery has to be, and you might already know this, it's going to be your sleep. And the reason why sleep is so critically important is, I think it's kind of obvious. You know the kind of decisions that you make. I can speak firsthand that if I get 5 to 6 hours of sleep, the decisions that I'm making in a day, the analytical capacity that I have is substantially lower than when I get 8 to 9 hours of sleep. In fact, now I make it an absolute non-negotiable that 7 days a week, I have to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm in bed by 9 p.m., the alarm goes up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I feel refreshed. I need to encourage you, how many hours of sleep are you getting? Track this on a daily, on a weekly basis. Average it out, see how many hours you're getting. Because let me tell you, getting not enough sleep on the weekdays and sleeping in like crazy on the weekends will not cut it anymore. You need to consistently get sleep if you want to be a high-performing entrepreneur and make better decisions. Now that we've talked about our micro recovery, the second key that I want to tell you today is going to be our macro recovery. And macro recovery is going to be a little bit on a larger scale. You see, whereas micro is going to be on a daily basis, macro is going to be on the weekly. I want you to think, what are some things you can do on a weekly basis that are going to give you a lot more energy? And the most important one is going to have a non-negotiable rest day. And the reason why rest day is so important is it's the same principle as you having rest on a daily basis. In the same way that you can burn out within a day by getting too tired, the same is going to happen with a weekly basis if you don't put in the right times for your rest. So personally for myself, I'm a Christian man of faith. I put Sundays as my non-negotiable rest day. I pretty much do absolutely no business work on a Sunday. And I'd encourage for you to pick one day of the week. It doesn't necessarily have to be Sunday, but for most people, Sunday is a weekend. It's the time you go to church, you can spend time with family. I would have that time and I'd encourage for you to block that in. That means you need to put a couple barriers. First and foremost, turn off the phone. Turn off all notifications. Don't be on Slack, don't be on email. Tell all your team members that even if they try to contact you on Sunday, you will not respond. And the beauty of this is that if you don't work on a Sunday, you will actually come back to Monday much more well rested. Your decision making is going to be better. You're going to work more productively. You're going to work faster because of these principles. And then the third principle I want to teach you today is what I call the on-off principle. And what I mean by the on-off principle is that what you do during the time that you are off, meaning not working, is just as important, if not more important, than what you're doing during the time that you are on. This is absolutely critical. A lot of people think, no, working in my business is all about the grind. But let me ask you, when do you get your best ideas? Because a lot of people get the best ideas when they're not actually working. Sometimes you're in the shower and you're just thinking in the shower and all of a sudden you get a great idea. Sometimes you're going on a walk. You know Steve Jobs, people in Silicon Valley, they used to go on meetings while taking a walk. Because during your off time, when you're resting, that is typically when you get a lot of really good thinking. So why would you rob yourself of the opportunity and privilege of having the best ideas, the best analytical thinking from yourself? Make sure that you actually do things that you enjoy during your off day. Personally, for myself, I love going on hikes. I love getting outdoors in the nature. Living in Los Angeles is a little difficult to do so because I'm in the hustle bustle of the city. So every single weekend, I'm gonna go out and find a nice place to hike. I'll block out 2 to 3 hours, and I'll tell you, some of my best ideas come from going on a hike, going to the beach, getting outside of the office to truly enjoy and think in nature. So I'd encourage you to use these following 3 principles of micro recoveries on a daily basis, of breaks, having a hard stop at the end of the day, and getting enough sleep every night. I'd encourage for you to use the second key, which is macro recovery, of resting on a weekly basis, and then also finding things that you love and using the things that you love to actually have better ideas in business. And when you use these 3 principles, you're gonna discover that burnout is gonna substantially decrease. In fact, I would not be surprised if burnout completely disappeared from your life. Now look, we're just scratching the surface right now of what can actually be done if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, to completely eliminate burnout. And that's why I just released a very exciting program today. It's called the High Performance Entrepreneur Program, where I work with entrepreneurs typically on a one-on-one basis. And I help entrepreneurs get back dozens of hours of their work week while helping them increase their revenues. So look, if you're tired of going to the next coaching program, the next course, the next book to learn about some business tactic or strategy, it might be time to start upgrading your high performance. I want you to click the first link down below in the description. That's gonna take you over to a booking page. You're gonna get a free training where you watch it for 10 minutes or so. You can get even more value in terms of high performance. And then you're gonna hop on a call directly with me or one of my team members to see if we're a good fit to work with each other. And if you work with me, I can assure you, your performance is gonna go to the next level along with your revenue. Hey, my name is Richard. Consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell if you're new here. And I cannot wait to see you next time. Remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything.